we, the NRA members, are like any conscientious, intelligent, responsible citizen, that we know that we have individual rights given to each of us individually by God, and they're guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And anybody that doesn't get that, maybe attorney generals that run guns to Mexican drug gangs and want to brainwash Americans about guns, subhuman mongrels like that. And Mayor Bloomberg will tell us that the Second Amendment is about weekend deer hunts. I mean, you got to just have a sun-baked turd for a brain to be against the right of individual, self-defense. So we'd like to stand up and tromp them with truth and logic and common sense, and I do it on a daily basis. The NRA and people who love freedom and people who know we have not only a God-given individual right to defend ourselves, but we have a moral, certainly an intellectual and spiritual obligation to defend our precious gift of life. We can't thank God enough, not only for that right, but for sending a buffoon like Piers Morgan to argue with us. I mean, you and I could go to the most creative, fantasy-driven cartoon masters of Hollywood to come up with an idiot to try to make the stand against the Second Amendment, and we couldn't beat what Piers Morgan does. So thank God there are Piers Morgans and Mayor Bloombergs and Governor Cuomo's and Nancy. You don't have to read this. You need to sign it, Pelosi. And Diane, I've got a gun, but you don't get one, Feinstein. I mean, the people against the Second Amendment can only be described as subhuman monsters. And I keep referencing subhumans because you really have to be against humanity. You have to be against freedom. You have to be against good over evil. You have to be on the side of evil to find fault with the right to keep and bear arms. So when you see the level of abuse of power, the corruption, the fraud, the deceit, the scamming is manifested, is epitomized by the Chicago gangster Acorn community chief and organizer, it breaks your heart that there are heroes of the military that die, that sacrificed their lives fighting for the Constitution, while our elected officials wipe their ass with it.
Yeah.
And Hillary Clinton's a criminal. I think Rahm Emanuel and Tim Geithner are criminals. I think Pelosi and Feinstein are criminals.
Yeah.
I think anybody that's against an individual's right to defend themselves should be prosecuted, tried, and put in prison.
Right on.
So I became active when I saw this kind of abuse increasing in the 70s and 80s as I got aware of, when you're, I don't know, I was in my 30s in 1979, and I see that the U.S. Marine heroes, the greatest warriors that ever lived, were put in charge of security at the American Embassy in Tehran,
right.
Iran, but they weren't allowed to have bullets in their guns. Are you kidding me? So you're in charge of putting out a fire, but you're not allowed to have any water.
Wow.
This kind of indecency, this kind of bureaucratic evil was so obvious and so offensive, especially to my buddies in the military and law enforcement, who know that if you are disarmed and helpless, that you're basically worthless to bring about anything resembling security. So I got more and more involved. And God, Guns, and Rock and Roll was my first New York Times bestseller, because it's about time that somebody spoke up without candy coat and stuff and called a spade and identify the criminals and spotlight the cockroaches in our government. And then Ted White and Blue, the Nugent Manifesto, is a continuing saga, as is this radio show, as is every radio show I do 300-plus days a year.
Yeah.
And the articles I write for WND.com and Newsmax.com and on my TedNugent.com. And I'm, believe it or not, the author of Wango Tango qualifies as We the People. So I'm involved and I'm engaged, and I've saluted too many flag-draped coffins of heroes of the military that have sacrificed their lives so that we can have an American dream.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if I'm going to let this kind of Barack Obama, Eric Holder injustice and terrorism take place in my country without voting these punks out of office.
When are you going to run, Ted?
Yeah, no, that's what I want to know.
I'm performing the most important role in humanity. It's called We the People. So I'm going to keep raising hell, but if the people of America ever decided that I should run for public office and I could bring great upgrade, which I know I could, then I will do so, as long as my campaign manager, Mrs. Nugent, allows me to.
There you go. That's the real boss, right?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Yeah. I'm alive and well, and I know how to live, and it usually involves a dangerous guitar, a sexy blonde, and acres of dead pigs and a machine gun.
I definitely love pork.
He's and you could tell if you looked at him.
Yeah. Wow. But except I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
But you don't kill Jews, right? With those machine guns? Just the pigs.
Just the pig. No, we love the pork. We'll eat some equine steaks. We can get some French horse meat for you. None of that, Dom. But all my dead flesh is kosher because I slice it at the pump station.
Right on.
There you go. I'm actually Italian, so but I like making Jewish jokes.
I don't really. Hey, Dom, I don't really give a damn. You know what I mean? The game that we kill and process is the most healthy, most delicious, most nutritious protein in the world. So when you have freaks like Bill Maher and the animal rights freaks, these brain dead, doped up monsters, these mongrels that think that they're going to tell Ted Nugent I can't eat venison. Every time I hear the words animal or right in the same paragraph, I kill more stuff.
Yeah. Now, what about George W.? Were you a big George W. fan?
George W. is okay. He had his great moments. Certainly following 9/11, he was a true leader.
Yeah.
He had really, really profound moments of leadership and statesman authority. But unfortunately, he also had this horrible curse of spending out of control.
Yeah.
And he also increased the debt, and he did a bunch of politically correct nonsense, like signing a bill that allows senior citizens to have prescription assistance when they already own 2 homes and a Winnebago, and they go to Las Vegas every year spending what they could have spent on their own prescriptions.
Yeah. What about as a public speaker, though? Did you like him as a public speaker?
Not particularly.
Not too many people.
You need a little more work.
And here's the horrible thing, that if ever there was an ounce of truth that came out of Barack Obama's mouth, he would be a great speaker. But much like Hitler, if you lie and you scam, I'm afraid I can't give you credit for being a good anything.
Holy shit. Oh,
there it is. Yeah. Let me come out there and hunt with you.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
We donate a lot of hunting trips with the Nugent family every year to raise money for all the military charities and all the youth charities, all the Children's Leukemia Foundation, Ronald McDonald Cancer House, and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So people pay a lot of money for these great causes to come hunt with Uncle Ted as their guide and outfitter.
Do you have any XXX sized camouflage? Because I don't own any. But
we got us a porker here, do we?
Yeah. We do, about 300 pounds. So if you got anything that maybe, maybe you could sew 2 of them together.
I could get you a camo tent, and then I could use you for cover. I could sit behind you and use you for my blind.
Yes.
And might want to upgrade the helicopter, too, if you go that route.
Yeah. Definitely fill that up with gas.
Going to have to take a Chinook to get old Dom airborne.
Chinook.